T&J Sports Podcast. Sorry we missed the last couple of weeks due to a new job and travel. It caused us to have to postpone it for a little bit, but we're glad to be back. We're looking forward to continue putting out new videos for you all and new content, all the crazy things that are going on. I'm T. Tstalls.
Drizzy here. How's it going?
We got a lot to discuss, a lot of recap from the last 2 weeks. As you know, we paid a lot of attention to the NBA Finals, just like the rest of the world. So we'll go ahead and put an end cap on that. As you already know, the Golden State Warriors won the 2022 NBA Finals over the Boston Celtics, 4-2, which helped me correctly predict the Warriors winning in 6. But as I said in other videos, after I watched that second game, I was kind of actually going for the Celtics. So I was like, I hope they could win it in 7. But the Warriors won it, so I'll take a win with predicting that correctly. What was your thoughts on how that finals wrapped up?
I just think maybe Boston ran out of gas towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
The power of Steph and Clay and Draymond and their role players off the bench really just solidified that, and they were good to take over, and they really just outmatched the Celtics the last 3 games.
Yeah, I think it's definitely all veteran. I think Steph Curry is like, I'm not about to lose to these guys. So he balled out in game 4, game 5, and put them away in game 6. I'm happy for Curry and Clay. Not really happy for Draymond getting his 4th ring because, as you know, he acts a fool when he gets another ring. He acts a fool when he doesn't win. But anyway, Curry, Clay, and Draymond win their 4th title together in 8 years. That's a crazy stat. Steph Curry actually wins his first Finals MVP. Well deserved. As I mentioned, he went crazy in game 4, 5, and 6 to put it away. I think this, of course, it adds any championship and Finals MVP adds to your legacy, but I think that just more solidifies Steph Curry and being a top 3 point guard of all time. He's already the greatest shooter of all time. I've seen people asking, like, when will Steph Curry's 3-point record be, when will somebody break that one? Never, because Steph Curry still has like 5 more years, 6 more years, maybe even longer, still being that guy, still being the best shooter in the league. So I see probably hitting 4,000, maybe 4,200 before it's all said and done. So I don't see anybody ever beating that. But who knows? I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't think anybody would beat, Ray Lewis, but not Ray Lewis, Ray Allen, but here's Steph Curry. So how can they remain on top? What do you think they can do to keep them on top? What's next for them?
Really, it's just keeping that young talent around as best they can. Free agency started the last couple of days and whatnot. Keep the young talent, but as long as they've got that core group and Steve Kerr, they're a threat to win. If they're healthy, they're a threat. I mean, they have the poise, they have the championship pedigree to do it in return. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get back there next year.
Exactly. I agree. It's free agency did start. We'll actually discuss all of that coming up, but I think, like you were saying, they had to keep those guys together. So they already have Clay in a contract. They have Poole in a contract, Wiggins in a contract. So I think it's more so them not wanting to opt out or going somewhere else, which I think they're all in for this next year, Clay, Poole, and Wiggins. Since free agency started a couple of days ago, they already did lose 2 key role players, and Otto Porter Jr., who's now with Toronto on a 2-year contract, and they lost Gary Payton II, who's on a 3-year contract with the Portland Trail Blazers. So was that a lot of points for them right there, that they lost out on them too? No, but that was a huge spark, and that's a culture builder right there. Them 2 bought into the culture. Gary Payton been around that for a long time when he was in the G League with them, to now actually being on that team and winning the finals with them. Now he's gone. And then Otto Porter, who had a rough career so far until he got to the Warriors. He finally found a home, at least we thought. And, this NBA is a business, so he found a home, and now he make money off of it. So good for them too. But they still have Looney, who is still unsigned. So I think it's a key factor to go ahead and grab Looney back, or do like a sign and trade deal to where they can get something out of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's how they can remain on top. Like you just said, the Warriors will still be the Warriors because they still have the big 3, and they still have Steve Kerr. So now we're on to the NBA draft results. I'm hesitant to say it because we didn't do that great on it, but I mean, it's the draft. It's hard to predict it. As some of you seen in our mock draft, we put our predictions out there. So Drizzy, you got 3 of the 30 right, which
I
was the
was 3 of 3. I was
yeah,
3 of 3. That's what matters. I started
exactly.
out 100%.
Exactly. You was 3 for 3, going strong. I think that was probably this draft. Honestly, it was those 3 and everybody else. But as we've seen them before, we thought that with other drafts, and then the 23rd pick or 37th pick ended up being the star of that draft. So I ended up getting 8 out of 30. I got the first 5 correctly, which I was kind of shocked. But then again, I was like, you got to look at the rosters. I kind of knew Keegan Murray was going to go to Sacramento. They needed that kind of player. They kind of just drafted a Jaden Ivey player last year. And I knew they kind of weren't going to go for that type of player, but I think the Pistons did the right thing in drafting Jaden Ivey. And there's a lot of history for him in Detroit, as you've seen. His grandfather played for the Lions, his mom played for the Shocks. So it was huge for them to draft Jaden Ivey. I think that's a great pick for them. But yeah, 8 out of 30, 3 out of 30, it's okay. We got the first 3 correct, first 5 correct, so it's all right. I really can't predict a winner out of this yet until the season begins. But we do know the loser is, the Nets, as you mentioned. Yeah, they didn't get much out of this. They did not capitalize.
No. The Nets are just a big loser they bet big with superstars.
Yep.
And probably by the beginning of this year, they're not going to have Kyrie, KD, or James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. They tried to go big with superstars, getting Pierce and Garnett and whatnot from Boston back in the day, set them behind. So this is going to also set them behind. If I had to pick a winner of the draft, I think Detroit.
Yeah.
Aiden Ivey to go with Cade Cunningham's already there, and then trading for Jalen Durant that Charlotte picked up, I believe, at 13 or 15.
Yeah.
100%. I think that they got a lot better.
Oh,
with that. So if I had to pick one or out the top of my head, going back and looking, I would definitely pick Detroit. I think they could definitely maybe make some noise or do something in that division in the East.
Definitely. I'll go with that. Not to just jump on there, but I mean, you make a great point there. They did get Jalen Durant, which is huge for them. That could be their homegrown big 3 right there. Cade Cunningham, Ivy, and Durant now. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it plays out. Of course, not going to expect them to do any finals run or playoff run in the first year, but we will see glimpses of what the future has for them. So hopefully they keep a good coach. Hopefully they keep those players there and don't try to do what the Nets did and failed to do. So speaking on the Nets, as you mentioned, Kyrie and KD going on to the free agency now, they both want out. They don't want to be with the Nets anymore, which was a short-lived romance for the two. 2019, they both said, we're going to do this together. They even brought in James Harden. James Harden said, no, after a year. I don't even think he made it a full year with them, and he was out. And now both Kyrie and KD are out. What can the Nets do with this? They can do a lot. But right now, it's kind of probably like a madhouse at the Nets facilities because, you got Kyrie and KD who don't want to play for you anymore. James Harden's gone. And the only person you have out of this whole little era of that time is a guy who doesn't even play basketball because he doesn't want to play right now, and Ben Simmons.
Yeah. I mean, I
think
think
about some mental health, but I think he's taking it.
He's taking it pretty far.
Yeah.
And I think the easiest trade that could possibly go down, they might have to match up a little bit of money, is the Lakers swapping Russ and AD for KD and Kyrie. Just, you're talking max contracts, money can swap.
Yeah.
They might have to attach some sign-in trades with some guys for lower level, but I mean, if you just want to straight up get rid of your problem on both ends, flop it and see how it works.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you mentioned that. I did some research and seen what kind of packages they created. So before LA, they had Grizzlies on there. So I didn't think the Grizzlies were even a potential candidate here. But I mean, I looked at the trade details. I don't think the Nets would go for this, but they have the Grizzlies will only get KD, which obviously that's a lot compared to what the Nets will get. The Nets will get Jaren Jackson, who's just now going to be out for 3 to 4 months with a foot injury. So that's automatically a no-no. Dylan Brooks, who's a okay role player. Xavier Tillman, and then their own unprotected first round pick in 2024 and 2026, plus a top 4 protected first round selection via the Golden State Warriors in 2024. So if the Nets do go with that, which there's probably a 2% chance they'll ever do that, but it's the Nets. You never know. I think they're definitely going to be banking on the future and not trying to win a playoff, win the finals. Now, what you said is what they want to do to continue and, be a threat in the East and win the finals is by giving up Irving and KD to LA to get Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Austin Reeves, and then the 2027 first round pick and their 2029 first round pick. I think that's a good option for them. Anthony Davis, if he can be healthy, cool. He's at the prime of his career. Russell Westbrook, he has a lot to prove, but I think he can do well in Brooklyn. And then Austin Reeves is a young fella who can come up and do something. But who do you think the winner or loser of that will be, LA or the Nets?
I don't think either of them win in either scenario because you get KD, Kyrie playing with LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that going to work out? How are those three going to mesh together? And then, I mean, the Nets won't have any. I mean, their whole roster last year was mid-level veteran exception players that signed on for small contracts. So there's neither of them have pieces for the future. Neither of them are poised to win now, and it's a lose-lose situation all the way around for both teams.
Exactly. I think if they wanted to make this kind of deal, then the Lakers should have made a move with Anthony Davis and Westbrook. Anthony Davis a year prior because that's when he was most valuable, but now he's out with injury. The dude hasn't picked up a basketball in 5 months.
Which he says is normal. He says the season ends and he doesn't pick up a basketball for so many months, which I understand resting and rehabbing your body, but you literally played 20% of the games last year.
Yeah.
It's time to get to work.
It's your career. It's your job. That is literally how you make your money is playing basketball, and you don't do it for 5 months. I get rehab, but you tell me you're not just sitting in your room with a basketball in your hand, just dribbling. You're not doing that at least. Maybe he was exaggerating, saying I haven't touched it in 5 months. Maybe he hasn't touched a basketball court with a basketball, practicing in that essence. I'm sure you have to touch a basketball in 5 months, my man. You literally do. You're Anthony Davis, a 7-footer. Everywhere you walk, somebody's probably handing you a basketball to sign it. And there's no way you stay away from the game for 5 months. But that honestly made his value go down just because it's like, dude, you're not even in this. You want a championship. And it's like, all right, I'm done.
That's it. He's got his money. He's got his title. He can ride off in the sunset and be done.
That makes me not want him. I wouldn't want him. I mean, the only winner out of that, if I have to choose, is probably LA because you still have LeBron James who can work well with Irving. Possibly, he could probably talk some sense into him. I don't see how that will work well because Irving is he's not a team player in my mind. He's not a team player. He's not going to do what's best for the team. He's going to do what's best for Kyrie Irving, the person and the brand. He can say all he wants, like, yeah, I'm my teammates. No, your teammates are Kyrie and Irving. That's your teammates. So I don't know. KD's never that would never be a loser right there. He's 33, 34 years old. He's in the prime of his career. He's still going to get buckets. LA will still make, a playoff push run. So I think that's why they'll win. The Nets, the Russell Westbrooks, Anthony Davis may get injured, and then Ben Simmons probably doesn't even want to play. So another potential trade is the Pelicans. Pelicans get KD. In return, they give the Nets everything pretty much. They give them Zion Williamson, Jonas Valanciunas, Devontae Graham, Garrett Temple, which that last name's like what? But the Lakers' first round pick in 2024, Milwaukee's first round pick in 2027. So, I mean, Nets win that one in my opinion because that's young talent. But then again, the Pelicans look like they'll keep a lot because they still have Brandon Ingram. They still have CJ McCollum. And now you're adding KD. I think they could actually be the winner of that one. Now that I'm thinking about
Could, but wasn't it? When I look at Brandon Ingram, the closest player I think of that matches that he resembles and is KD.
Yeah,
So
he can
you have
groom
two
him.
KDs.
He can groom him. He's already a killer on the court offensively. Now he's got to. I think KD can give him another kind of mindset on, all right, becoming a better shooter, which he's, like you said, he literally, if you see, when you see him, you think of, oh, that's a baby Durant. Now get him under Durant and really go into becoming a full on, like, oh man, that's Kevin Durant made over.
But does Kevin Durant strike you as the person that's going to teach anybody anything?
I mean, at this point in your career, you kind of.
He's basketball's version of Aaron Rodgers.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I got that's true. That's actually a good point. KD, I mean, at this point in your career, you're 33, 34, you're at the prime, you made your money, you made your finals championship, you have 2 of them. Now at this point, you just want to, stay relevant and you want to keep going. So you gotta kind of have to teach players how to be better. So no, not everybody's gonna have a mindset of LeBron James and being a coach and player and leader. They're not gonna be like that. Not every great player is like that. You can't find many Steph Currys. You can't find LeBrons. So hopefully KD realizes, like, all right, I have to be more than just the shooter, the scorer, the feisty one. I have to actually be a leader here. So we'll see. The last trade option I have is the Suns. So the Suns will get KD, of course. In return, we give up 2 prime players in DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges. DeAndre Ayton already stated he doesn't, he wants to be on the move. He's looking for a trade, which it sucks, but it is what it is. That's the league now. They want their money. We also give up a first-round pick in 2024 and 2026 and 2028. So that's a lot of first-round picks. It's a lot of potential draft picks going, giving up for KD. We still keep CP3. We still keep Booker. Now we're adding KD. We still have a young Cam Johnson, again, who can be groomed by KD because he's a shooter. Now we just leave a wide open, front court. We have nobody in the front court anymore because JaVale McGee just signed with the Mavs. So it's like, who do we have?
Yeah, it's acquiring superstars and giving up what you have to give up to get them.
Yep.
When they're unhappy somewhere else. I mean, is it worth it to lose what you've got built for a possibility? KD, you could trade for KD. He could bust an Achilles again. And then you've lost your young core. You've lost the possibility of winning a title. You've lost CP3's last year or 2 to make noise. I mean, and then at that point, you turn into LA. You turn into Brooklyn and trying to rebuild and restart. And to me, I don't think it's worth it. If you can sign them free agent, if they can opt out, you can sign them free agent. That's the way to do it. If you don't want to, you could build up a young core, trade them all away for a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And that chance never comes of anything.
Well, breaking news on it. The draft pick trade I was just about to talk about, DeAndre Ayton, because he said he wanted to leave. We already discussed, how we were looking at Miles Turner from the Pacers, who I said we should get in return is Miles Turner and Malcolm Brogdon. Well, that's not going to happen. The Celtics just traded for Malcolm Brogdon. So Celtics gave up Daniel Tice, Aaron Naismith, and Malik Fitz, Nick Stauskas, pretty much, bench players, but Celtics get a great guard and defender and Malcolm Brogdon. So, well, I don't know what the Suns are going to get out of the Pacers now. I don't think Miles Turner is enough for DeAndre Ayton. We're going to need some more. We're going to need more. We need a bigger guard like Malcolm Brogdon who can play defense and can score when we need him to score. So that just ruined that whole deal. So, DA, you look like you're going to be with the Suns for a little bit longer until we find something better.
As DA restricted free agent, unrestricted free agent? Is he still under contract?
I have to look and see what his whole situation is. I just know he's looking for, being out of Phoenix, which honestly, I don't see why he's looking to be out of Phoenix other than not being able to get the Supermax deal. But dude, you didn't play like a supermax player in the time we needed you. I get it. We didn't play him enough, but we couldn't play you because you weren't doing your job against an inferior Mavs team who didn't have anybody to defend you. So again, I'm sure there's a lot more to it than just getting money, but it looks like
restricted free agents, so they can match any offer,
yeah.
and then they can also work out sign-in trades. I mean, then again, they could just wait for him to get an offer, match his offer, and be like, "Yep, you're sticking with us." And then,
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, Kobe wanted to go to the Knicks, and the Lakers said, "Nope, you're not going anywhere." So, kept him around, won a couple more titles. So, I mean, contract's contract.
Yeah.
In the end, Brooklyn could make KD honor his contract. You want out? Oh well. You don't. You're playing this year, whether you give it 110% or not. You're sticking it out. So,
And you don't want to waste another year of your prime. So
no.
we'll see how this unfolds. This is week 1 of it. Well, not even a whole week of free agency. We already seen a lot going on. So we'll see in the weeks to come. But what we do know so far, John Wall signs deal with the Clippers, which makes them even more of a contender when Kawhi is actually healthy. Bradley Beal signs a supermax deal with the Wizards for $251 million. Good for Bradley Beal, the person, but Bradley Beal, the career here in Washington, it kind of sucks. But hey, you got your money. Zach LaVine signs a supermax with the Bulls, 5 years, $215 million. Great for him, great for the Bulls. Jalen Brunson is on the move to the Knicks on a 4-year, $104 million move. He now gets to go play where his dad works for, which he works for the Knicks. I think that's a good move for Jalen Brunson. He's getting paid. Make the most out of this great year he had and great playoff performance. So that's free agency for us now. We're going to switch gears to Louisville football recruiting. We'll discuss more about free agency next week when we hopefully get some more for you. But so Louisville football recruiting. An article I published last week, I discussed the huge recruiting week we had that resulted in a commitment from the top running back prospect in the class of 2023, Ruben Owens. This was huge. We held the event at Churchill Downs, which I was actually there, seeing a few of the players. It was a great time, and it proved to be an excellent venue and event to get these recruits because they seen another great thing about Louisville, Kentucky, and Churchill Downs, and you mix in, Louisville football and everything. Everything about that event was great. So Ruben Owen joins the 2023 class, which is currently ranked 14th in the nation. It includes DeAndre Moore, who's a 4-star receiver, Aaron Williams, a 4-star DB, Pierce Clarkson, the 4-star quarterback, who's been the heavy recruiter for us, and then Adonjay Green, who's a 4-star edge player, and countless other 3-star athletes. So, man, the 2023 sounds great. Sounds like we're going to get a lot of prospects. A lot of people think, oh, it's just a NIL deal that's going to get him more money. He's going to end up decommitting, going to Texas or somewhere else where he can get more money. But the dude got literally 502 tatted on his arm. I think he's coming to the 502. So,
all that NIL money is good for tattoo removal.
It is good for that, but why go through the trouble of spending X amount of dollars when you can just keep the 502 and come run the ball in the 502? That'd be great for us.
I mean, because he could sit there, and now Pierce Clarkson's from California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes to Lincoln Riley, calls, hey, we're going to the Big Ten.
They already got the 5-star. They already have a 5-star coming in there this year.
Doesn't matter.
Honestly, anything can happen. Anything's on the table with NIL. Anything's on the table with the one-time transfer. So, like I said before in our previous podcast, as a Louisville fan, you want to get hyped. Any fan gets hyped when you're getting recruits. But in this day and age where kids, I won't call them quitters, but they look for the easy out and they want, oh man, I can make more money. I'm going to go here. I don't have to sit behind a 5-star quarterback, or I don't have to sit behind whoever. I can just go somewhere else. So yeah, I'm excited for the 2023 class because Ruben Owens is probably the best prospect we've ever had coming into Louisville. So yeah, heck yeah, I'm happy. But we'll see. They still have 2022. Well, That's our prediction. That's what we got coming up soon. Actually, everybody listening in, we're going to make predictions for our favorite team, which is mine is Louisville, and Drizzy has Kentucky. Sorry. So he has his predictions coming up for them, and then of course everything that's going on in the ACC, which who we think will be the winner of that, who will be the winner of the SEC, and we'll also touch on other conferences and other teams. So we'll throw those predictions out to you in the coming weeks, just to build up the hype and anticipation for the college football season. So another hype thing, I know you probably heard it, but you actually sent it to me. There's rumors of Louisville, Clemson, and I believe, not sure the other team. What was the other team? Potentially joining. Well, anyways, the big two, Louisville and Clemson, joining the SEC in the next couple of years. I mean, I heard of it before. It was kind of a joke just because we're in the South. Why wouldn't we join them? We're only an hour away from Kentucky. Why wouldn't we be in the SEC? I don't know how that would plan out for Louisville. So, your thoughts on how that would pan out? How can that work? And what the result? I know what you'll say, but what are the results you think?
Well, I mean, the results for them will be honestly great. I don't see it just being those two.
Yeah.
I see it being more geographical in the sense of more Southern team. I'm looking Florida State, Miami, Duke and Carolinas, those type of schools. I mean, obviously Clemson's in that area too, but I'd say more like the Southern tip of the ACC. Obviously, they're not going to expand up into Syracuse and Boston College and whatnot. And we can leave that for the Big Ten up there, but it won't hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking forward to 2 to 3 massive conferences.
Oh, yeah.
How anyone wants to make that schedule, how any of that plays out, who knows? But in the end, I think you're going to be looking at SEC, Big Ten, and some version of a Big 12 that just absorbs every other team out there.
We're going to go from a Power Fives to Power 3, Power 2, really.
With something looking like a NBA or NHL division system with 6 teams per division, and I don't know how you're going to end up. You'll have a playoff for each conference, and to make an expanded playoff,
it's all centered around the money-making teams. Of course, it's going to be the money makers. The losers of this is going to be, the smaller schools that can make runs, like a Boise State and 06 when they made their run, 07 when they made their run. It's going to suck for them. Cincinnati can actually, because they're going to another conference, Big 12. They're actually moving up. But as we just said, Big 12 is going to be a smaller level conference now compared to the SEC, ACC, and Big 10. So those are going to be our big 3. So Louisville and Clemson and others are rumored to go to the SEC. What's not a rumor but confirmed, UCLA and USC, who is in the Big 12, is now moving to the Big 10. Honestly, my thoughts on this at first was like, man, how is that going to be feasible? Like, where is that going to help them out financially? But then I did my research, and the Big 10 is actually in works of making a new TV deal that would give each of the teams that are in their conference $100 million a year. So I was like, all right, makes sense. Make your move. I mean, the location geographically, like you said, that does not make sense. You're playing, California, and you got to go play Rutgers all the way out east. I don't see how that works for your fan base. It's 3-hour difference. So I can see, you're playing Rutgers at 8 o'clock at night, which is 5 o'clock back in California. It's great. But as we know, the Big Ten plays a lot of noon games, and 9 a.m. does not sound like a game I want to get up for.
No. Who's going to let's wake up for USC at UCLA at noon, on Thanksgiving week or whatnot. Like that's not gonna be cool. No one's gonna want to watch that.
Yeah.
Having USC and UCLA travel halfway, 3/4 way across the country to go to Ohio State and Michigan, and they're gonna bury them in December.
Yeah,
when it snows. I mean, seeing the kids play in that, it's gonna be different. We're coming up on something in the next couple of years. It's gonna be a little crazy.
I mean, I
Texas.
think it sounds cool. It sounds cool. The matchup, like you just said, Ohio State versus USC. Those are two prime powerhouse teams, historically great teams. Like, dang, I wouldn't mind seeing that game.
No,
Now you're telling me I get to see it every year, and they just want to flip every year in California, Ohio, California. It sounds great, but then you run into like, all right, what time? Or when are we going to do this? How can we um, be accepting to both fan bases? Because how is this time going to work? I mean, I'm sure they're going to make it work. $100 million is going to make them find a way. So obviously they're going to make it work. And it's only going to increase their next contract because the viewings that they'll get for the first couple of years is just going to be off the charts in ratings. Everybody's going to want to watch USC versus Ohio State that first game because it's Lincoln Riley bringing back the Trojans versus Ohio State, who's been predominantly the top 10 team for the last couple of decades.
yeah.
USC's fall off, but I mean, by the time Lincoln Riley gets them for these next 2 years before they join the Big Ten, I think they'll be ready. So it could be a win-win. We'll see how they do it. They're going to do it regardless of if the fans are happy or not, because the fans give them money, but they're not giving them $100 million. So,
And you'll see Texas, Oklahoma. I feel like their move to the SEC will definitely be a little sooner. Definitely instead of 2025, they're going to be there in 2024.
oh yeah,
They'll find a way to buy out their last year and move their way over.
I think they'll sacrifice however much the buyout is for 2023 to whatever it is, and they'll try to get there next year because you don't want to keep waiting because another big deal is going to happen within that time. It's like, oh, dang, if I would have moved sooner, I would have got it. But we'll see how it goes. Another team that we're waiting on making a decision who's always been their own brand, their own thing, Notre Dame. NBC has everything on Notre Dame football-wise, but then you've seen basketball, all this other sports in Notre Dame is all ACC. But football team has been reluctant to not want to join. They just said, no, I don't want to join. They want to be their own brand. And I mean, rightfully so. They made a lot of money from their TV deal, but they're now out of that TV deal. So who do you think will be the best fit? The Big Ten, SEC, ACC? Who's the best fit, best case scenario for Notre Dame?
That one is just going to be whoever's going to fork over the most money to them. That is simply as that. They're going to be money hungry. Whoever gives me the most money, that's where I'm going to go. Because, I mean, you do have a massive following, for Notre Dame all across the country. And no matter who gets them, they're going to see a value in it and getting them. So whoever gives them the most money, the best opportunity, honestly, geographically wise, I would say Big Ten.
Yeah.
They already play USC, so that will become a conference game instead of non-conference game. And, they play, they definitely dabble around playing in that area and different non-conference games every year. So, but then again, it's Notre Dame. They act all high and mighty, and we're the best, and we want to be independent. We don't want to belong to anybody else. When in reality, they just choke. So,
yeah. It says that their deal is annually $15 million with NBC. The deal is through 2025. So, $15 million just for you to be on. That's a lot of money. Just for football to be on, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So. We'll see. We'll see what contract deal they'll come up with. I mean, I think, like I said, a TV provider is going to pay top dollar to get USC versus Ohio State, and they're going to want the Big Ten Big Ten Network to be their prime. They want that to be theirs, so they're going to pay probably more than $15 million to do that. And like you said, Notre Dame's going to pick the highest bidder. I think geologically it will work best, and obviously the Big Ten because they have Purdue and Indiana right there. But as we've seen the rivalry that has already began in the ACC for them and other sports like basketball, their rival is now Louisville and really just Louisville, in my opinion, Louisville. So taking them out of the ACC kind of dampers that. But again, you're going to be playing against teams that are literally right next to you in Purdue and Indiana. So that's going to become your new rival, of course. So I think it would be great for them to be in the Big Ten. Of course, ACC will get a lot of money out of having them join the conference. And the SEC really doesn't get much out of them joining the conference. They already have the best market teams. They're adding Oklahoma and Texas Tech. So it's really why Notre Dame, unless you really want to be hungry for more money. But Big Ten or ACC for Notre Dame, of course, is the best bet for them. So we'll see how that goes. ACC is planning to make moves as well and reaching out to Notre Dame, but they're also reaching out to former teams like Maryland and West Virginia. I think that'd be great for them to come back and join the ACC because, again, geologically, that works best for them to play against, Virginia Tech, Virginia, North Carolina, Clemson. That works best for them to be in the ACC. So we'll see what they have to do. A lot of moves to make. Again, these deals probably won't take place for at least another year, 2 years, because 2025 seems to be the marker for a lot of these moves with Oklahoma and Texas Tech going to SEC and then TV contracts. So I guess 2025 is our year of when stuff will be done and maybe even a college playoff difference. So that's what I have for sports and basketball, NBA, what we have for the college world. So Drizzy, tell us a little bit what's going on in the NHL. I know we got a new finals winner. What's going on that side?
Yeah, so I correctly predicted 6 games, but the Avalanche did knock off the Lightning in 6 games. I had it vice versa. Avalanche won their first cup, I believe, since 2001. And they played, they were good. They're a really good team. They're good. They're fast, skilled with the puck.
Yeah.
I mean, the better team won, in my opinion, in that one. They more rested and whatnot. Tampa, I think, went to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And then Colorado swept 4-0. I mean, they were the fresher team. They were a faster team, and it showed down the line. But nothing to take away from Tampa. I mean, that was 2 straight years of winning it all, 3 straight years in the finals, and a sport that's way tougher to compete in than most people might think. But in the world of NHL, that's what we got going on now. Avalanche won. They're the 2021 champions. We'll see what happens next year. Free agency should kick off sometime here in a little bit.
Yeah. It's hard to be a three-peat team like the Lakers and Bulls. I mean, not many teams in whatever sport can win their league's championship 3 years in a row. So
I forgot the year. I think it was in the 80s. The Islanders won 4 straight. And that will probably never be touched.
Yeah.
This was probably the best opportunity. And so
we'll see though. It's cool. I like I said, some of I'm getting into NHL, so my pick was Tampa Bay. Of course, I kind of hopped on that bandwagon because you went 2 years in front. Of course, I'm gonna go with you in the 3rd year. But that's why we love sports. It's unpredictable. Anything can happen. The underdog can win. Anybody can win. But I believe the Avalanche were the higher ranked team in comparison, power rankings and record wise. So, but yeah. So anything else going on in the MLB going on?
I mean, we had a nice little brawl over the weekend between the Mariners and Angels, and had a bunch of suspensions handed down. It was actually a pretty good one. You always see those ones where everyone runs in from the dugout and they just stand in a line and yell at each other. But this one actually had some punches being thrown. And this spurned from the Angels manager thought they threw at Mike Trout's head the night before. So he threw a relief pitcher in to try and throw at the Mariners. Dude threw at someone's head, missed. So the next inning he led off and hit someone, former Cincinnati Red, Jesse Winker, one of my favorite players. Hit him right in the backside, and he turned straight to the dugout and started mouthing off, and then it just went south from there. It was pretty entertaining.
Oh yeah,
baseball fights can be really fun. Those back in the day, the Reds and Cardinals had quite a few brawls and whatnot. But also in the world of MLB, you've got the Yankees and the Mets, pretty much 1A and 1B, in the AL and the NL. it's not looking pretty good for my Reds and a lot of other teams at the moment either.
Yeah, I heard about the Reds. It's not looking good for them at all. They're at the bottom, right? They're like underneath the bottom, I believe.
Not anymore. We're next to the bottom. The
Okay.
Oakland A's are at the bottom,
Yeah.
and then we're the step above the bottom.
I mean, speaking on brawls, I mean, honestly, when I seen that brawl last week, it made me think of the last like good fight. I don't want to see fighting in sports, but when we do, if you're gonna fight, we want to see you fight. We don't see pushing and shoving. And that's usually what you see in the MLB. But last week was was something more than we planned on seeing. But it made me remember back when the Blue Jays played the Rangers and there was a fight on second base with Jose Batista. I think that kind of in comparison, you want to probably see that Blue Jays and Rangers because it was a straight one-on-one. I'm about to win this. Wow. What was his name? Odor?
Yeah, Rogan Odor. Yeah, he has a slide in the second.
Yep.
They just jawed each other, and I mean, just straight, no hesitation, just straight punched him. You can see the glasses fly off.
Mm-hmm. Sunflower seed flew out his mouth.
Yeah, so it's those are the best ones, man. Baseball fights, if they actually fight, can sometimes be really entertaining.
Oh yeah. Now everybody watching, if you play baseball, will know we don't want you to fight. But if it was me, somebody hit me with the ball, I'm charging the mound. I'm charging the mound. Like, come on. But it's hard. That's why I would never want to be a pitcher. In my 2 weeks of playing baseball, never wanted to touch that mound. No, just keep me in the outfield where I can just let it loose. I don't have to worry about hitting anybody. So yeah. So we got that going on with MLB. I'm actually a Red Sox fan. Haven't been able to keep up on them that much lately, but I'm a Red Sox and Cardinals fan. So what's some news on the Red Sox?
Red Sox, I think they're third in their division, and I believe that's a very stacked division with the Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Rays, and then Orioles. For the most part, I think they're third or fourth, but not by a lot. That's at one point this season. If the season ended today, there was 4 teams from the AL East making the playoffs. So they got their ups and downs going for them. Got some pitching woes and stuff, but it's here and there. I haven't watched too many of the Red Sox games here lately.
Yeah,
slacking on my
me either
coverage. Lost a little bit of heart. Reds start sucking again. Is like, why am I even watching this and whatnot? So
yeah, trust me, I've been there when the Suns were like that. I've been like that for the last couple of years with the Broncos. So get your hopes up, and after the first quarter, you're just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go watch something else. So it's all good. So keeping on baseball trend, we're actually gonna go down a level. So care to tell us who won that College World Series?
So Ole Miss, the last team to make the College World Series playoff field, last team in the whole playoffs, took the crown. They beat Oklahoma 2-0.
Nice.
So last team in, last team in, also first team to win. So we'll see. I think it's been quite a long time, if ever, that Ole Miss has actually won, taken that trophy, but I know that they earned it. Another win for the SEC, best conference in college sports.
Yeah, okay, it is.
You can't argue.
Yeah, I can't argue that. I mean, Louisville had their run, lost to Texas A&M, of course, in 2 games. So it is what it is. We did great. I think just making the playoffs again. It was the 9th time in Dan McDonald's time of being here. So I'm happy with how we performed. Hopefully we can rebuild on it next year. Ole Miss was actually one of the teams that was on the looks of taking Dan McDonald. Now it looks like they're going to probably keep their coach because he just won them a College World Series. So good. Keep them off. Our coaches back. So last week we did trivia. Last podcast we did trivia. Asked Jordan 9 questions. He got 6 out of 9. So it keeps him at 66%. So now this week, Jordan, you got some questions from me. Hopefully I can get better than 6. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep tally of all this. So Jordan, go ahead. Throw me out some questions here.
All right. First question. How long in miles is a marathon?
How long in miles is a marathon? Like 5K?
Yeah, like a 5K or yeah.
I believe 5K is, I believe it's like 3.4 miles.
They got down here. It might not be a 5K. Might be like a full on
Marathon?
marathon.
Sheesh. I'm gonna just, for time's sake, I'm gonna just throw out a number. I, for one, do not like running, so I don't know much about the marathon, but I believe like the Boston Marathon was like 12 miles.
The marathon is 26.2 miles.
Something I will not run. That's what that is. Something I'm not running.
I'm not either.
6 miles. My goodness. I think I can run that many miles in 2 months if I,
It would take me all year to run 26.2 miles.
20.
Question number 2. Which NFL team was originally called the New York Titans?
The Tennessee Titans?
No, New York Jets.
Tennessee Oilers. Dang. Okay. Yeah. Dang.
New York Jets.
New York Jets. New York Oilers. Or Titans. New York Titans. That's wow. Okay.
All right. 0 for 2. We need to get a little redemption going right now. I don't know if you can rattle off 6 straight. So
we'll see.
Number 3. Which NFL team has their logo only on one side of their helmet?
Which NFL team has their logo on one side of their helmet? Dolphins have it on both sides. I'm about to go with the Commanders. Washington Commanders?
It'd be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Dang. Where's the East ones at, man? Jeez.
All right. This one might be a little bit easier. It's baseball. Which team, the home or visiting team, bats first in a game?
The away team. Home always goes last.
You got one.
Yeah. There we go. I only know that because I'm an umpire now.
All right. Basketball. Who is the only coach to win an NBA and NCAA title?
He's currently coaching in the NBA right now?
No. Just in history, who is the only coach to win an NBA and NCAA title?
Can you give me the last year he coached?
I can give you the year of his championship in the NBA. How about that?
Cool.
2004.
So that was 2004. He won his NBA championship in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Pistons. I don't know what their coach's name was, but I'm gonna have to go with the Pistons coach in 2004. I forgot what his name is.
Well, yeah, it's the Pistons coach 2004. You ain't got no.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to cheat my way out of it. Jordan, geez.
He also coached SMU.
Something Brown, ain't it?
Larry Brown.
I got Brown. That's a half a point.
I'll give you the point. That one's hard. He won a 2004 with the Pistons, and in 1988 he won the NCAA title with the Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Question number 6. Right?
Maybe 5.
Yeah, 6.
Oh.
What is a soccer field called?
A pitch.
Right. Good job.
Let's go. Internship with Lou City helped out right there.
Next question. Which country, let's stay with soccer, won the first World Cup back in 1930?
Oh, good Lord. I'm going to have to.
It is a South American country.
I'm going to go with Brazil.
It was Uruguay won 4-2 over Argentina.
Son of a gun.
I gave you some hard ones here. Definitely.
You're going to give you some tough ones next week.
Come at me hard. I just realized that these are a little tougher. All right, 7. Let's go into NFL. Who's the first NFL running back to finish the season with 10 plus carries, but gain negative yards?
Ooh. I want to say Trent Richardson because he had a mediocre career, but what team did he play for?
This was in 2016. I believe it was with the Lions. I forgot to write that down. Very high profile athlete, especially in college.
Reggie Bush?
Yes.
Bam, let's go.
12 rushes for negative 3 yards.
Jeez, yeah. Lions, great career. Yeah, definitely Reggie Bush.
So, all right, last question.
All right. How many did I get right for?
1, 2. Yeah, 4 so far.
Dang.
So
All right.
All right. Basketball.
Okay.
Why did Michael Jordan have to wear the number 12 jersey in a game?
No, he wore 45 because his number was retired. He wore 12.
I believe it was in Washington.
Was it because they didn't bring an extra jersey with his name on it and jersey got ripped?
Got one more guess.
Dang. That is a good one. I only know why he wore 45. I remember this game when he wore 12. It had no name on the back of the jersey.
Think about something.
Dang, I can give me a hint of something.
The police were involved.
I'm gonna say there was blood on his jersey. I don't know.
Someone got into the locker room and his jersey was stolen.
Son of a gun. I remember seeing that post about that when he wore the 12 because it was like in March or something. Oh, man. Well, that's a good question. That was actually a good one. That was a good one. All good questions. So, all right. I got 4 out of what, 9?
4 out of 9. Send me some hard ones next week.
Oh, I'm coming at you like Harvard questions here, man. This is going to be some off the wall questions. Nah, I'll keep it good. So I want the viewer to be like, I know that answer. Bring it in. Because that's what we want y'all to do. We want you to join in on some of these questions. We're going to actually go live on one of these, and we're going to want you all to join in. We may even get some people to join in just for that segment, the trivia segment. So if you want to join in, you think you can answer some of those tough questions that Jordan just threw at me and some of my easy ones, go ahead and just give us a comment, give us a DM, reach out to us, let us know you want to be on the trivia segment. Or if you have some news about Louisville football, Louisville basketball, anything Louisville, anything UK, anything you want to discuss on the NBA finals, NBA in general, free agency, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the podcast. Love you to join the T&J Sports Podcast. This is for everyone. Again, we created this because we love sports. We're best friends. We want to continue talking to each other each week about the things that we love in sports. So, yes, if you love sports and you want to join in this passion with us, give us a holler. We'll love to have you on for a segment and definitely try to help you get better than 4 answers like I did. But, all right, so that's good. So that's our recap for the week, the last 2 weeks, actually. We are going to be here next week. We will give you any up-to-date information on NBA free agency, any trades that happen, where Kyrie and KD will go ruin next. Let's see what teams are going to go to. Honestly, if he goes to the Phoenix Suns, cool. I just hope we don't give up too much. But Kyrie, apparently he is forcing his way to LA. So when will we get to LA and what will they give up? But again, thank you for tuning in this week. Any questions, comments, please leave them. Thank you, and please join us next week. Tstalls signing out.
Yep, and Drizzy signing out. We got fun fact. I almost forgot about last little bit. Fun fact. Today, Friday, July 1st, every year for the past 12 years is Bobby Bonilla Day. The Mets have paid Bobby Bonilla $1.19 million for the past 12 years, including today, and there are 13 payments left.
Jeez.
So for the next 13 years, he will be getting another $1.19 million every July 1st. So happy Bobby Bonilla Day to everybody, and I'm signing out.
Yeah. Go Bobby.